My phone is really whack. So anyhow, I wanted to talk a little bit about paperworks because I've had a Midori Traveler's Notebook for probably, I don't know, 4 years. And this is the same one that I've had since I started um, bullet journaling, even though I've always kept a journal. And I've technically, this isn't even all the way a bullet journal, but I've just always kept this particular type of journal for the past 4 years. And before that, I did it different ways in different books, but I've been journaling since I could write. So I have journalings. When I was doing that game, that MASH game, from when I was 9 or 10, I had my journal and I did like MASH in it or flame in it, and I talked about my day. So here is the one I have now that I've had for the past 4 years, and I'll show you a little bit of how I set it up, how I set up my particular Midori Traveler's Notebook. Let's see. Okay. All right. So this is the one I've had for about, I don't know, four years now, probably going on 5 years. Um, and it's real leather, so it's really nice. It's a really nice workbook. Um, you set it up however you want. So the way that I do it is uh, write notes here, set up. This is like a pocket that goes into it, and then I make my own inserts. So I get them from craft stores, and I just cut it out, and then I put like I this one I've been kind of lazy, so I have a couple different books for a couple different things. So this is on weekly. So every week there's something different, or there's notes because I'll have notes I have to take maybe for a meeting, and then so every week's different, and then you have the notes, and then every month I do an insert like this is this month, and then this was last month, and then this was the month before that, and then whatever. It keeps going on, and every now and then I'll just take them out because I mean they get kind of to be a lot, and then I set up my weeks like this where it's pretty easy, not really a lot going on. Notes, week. This week's my anniversary. Um, and then of course I have my other ones. Like this is an older one that I'll run through where I put the quote here. If my sons did not want war, there would be none, which is one of the Rockefeller mothers said that, which is basically an attest to all of us. If we all didn't want it, it wouldn't exist. And so this is just the way I keep things that I write. I'll write, whatever is going on, and I usually put pictures in here and doodles and things. Although at this time, this was from 2015, so it's a couple of years old. I don't want to show a recent one. My recent one was actually, I try to like keep it. Let me see if I can find where December started. Well, I do. I will put things in it here, like from October. I've been really kind of slow about keeping things up. So, and then here's November, and the same thing here. Like I have, this is more of a doodle one. So like I put, oh, well, this is a trip that I took, or this is something that I want to figure out, or whatever, figuring out something, and I'm having fun while doing it, kind of thing. That's kind of like, or I'm planning a party. Um, so that's how that works, and it's all very much related. You could say it is kind of a form of magic because you're putting things out on paper, you're planning things out, and so in that way, it's casting a spell, casting out what you want to receive back, but you don't need it because there's a way to be in flow where some weeks even I'll just, it's like I don't keep track of it, and then it's just like I'm in a state of almost no time because it doesn't exist anyway. Time doesn't exist. So we can get into states where we're like that, and and that's the good thing about having one that you can create and plan yourself is because you can make it exactly the way you want it to be. So let's say you don't want to plan to have how you buy them in the store, and the ones that you buy in the store is set up where every week is a certain way. But when you do it yourself, you can just make it however you want. And that's the good thing about bullet journaling, is that it's pretty much whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a certain thing. I make these by hand every month, or not even every month. Maybe I do it every 6 months. The way it is. Like, does it have to be written down? No, you don't have to write anything down. Um, because it's all kind of whatever anyway. But it's cool for me to look back at some of the things I wrote when I was 9 or 10, um, just to see how my mind worked back then, or even things like this one. This is from 2015, the one that I was just showing. And I mean, I write a lot of really inspirational things in my journal. So I wrote, I will not value what is valueless. And this is basically everything in form is valueless, because it all changes, it all ends at some point. Um, the world that I see holds nothing that I want. Comparisons are meaningless. So I write down all different types of quotes in these. I'll write down stuff about my day. Salvation is my only function here. I am spirit. And so, and maybe I'll talk about that. Maybe there's something going on where I'm listening to something and it's reminding me of something, and I write that down. And for me, sometimes how people learn, everybody has a different way of learning. So some people learn by hearing something over and over. Some people learn by seeing it with their eyes, specific situation, or even the words, seeing the words. Some people work by writing it out. And so I do a combination of all of it. Sometimes, I'm reminding myself of who I really am with my thoughts, which is really where it all starts. It all starts with your mind and your own thoughts, because that's what's bringing everything in your reality to you. So writing down my thoughts is really what journaling is. And sometimes I have to type it because I can type faster. Maybe there's something I need to get out, some feeling that I need to get out, and it's like I want to vomit it up, because it's a way for me to rid myself of this disturbing thought, because it all starts here with, well, not here, but in the mind, and this is the vessel. So that it's using this as a vessel to kind of get it out. But it all starts in your mind. And if it's something there that's maybe festering, maybe you're festering a disease, or a disease like thought, which is really where all disease comes from our thoughts. So you have a disease like thought, you might need to write it out in something like this in order to rid yourself of this disease thought. Because then you can come back and look at it after you've gotten it out of you, after you've vomited it up. You can come back if you need to look at it and see just how insane it was. Or you just let it go. You burn it. You could burn your writings. I have probably like 40 of these, um, from different months, different years, from over the past 5 years, just in a bin. I could burn them all. And what would that do? Would that be like me erasing my past 5 years, and starting anew? I mean, it's a lot of me working through things, and I use different colors. So it's funny, he was talking about colors. I use different colors for however I'm feeling. I mean, I went through a period of time where I was that was my hobby, buying ink. trying different inks, and I had a fountain pen, and all I would do was just change the inks with different pens and different types of inks and different values of hues. But then I am an artist, so that's probably why I thought that was something that would be fun to do. Um, so my whole point is just that journaling definitely has a lot of value for certain people, especially the type of person where you really would value from learning through the action of writing it out. It sinks into your unconscious mind sometimes when you use that old school method of literally taking the pen to the paper. Now, at the same time, you may be able to just hear it over and over and learn, or you may be able to just see it in a book and you have that unconscious memory, which is why you can learn things sometimes. It's not by really reading it, it's like the photography that you're taking of the words that are seeping into your unconscious mind. So you're unconsciously reading it and you're holding on to the knowledge then because you're doing it from another level. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about too, was just the different ways things can seep into you, whether it be through ruled paper and you're writing out maybe different options for a future for you, which is back to my original video on MASH and Flame, which is it's a childhood game that's played to create your future. And I had my childhood people actually came true. I would have a childhood name. This is the name that I want my man to be. And that's what my man's name is, literally. So what I'm saying is that when children do these things, they're creating their future in a lot of ways, but they don't really realize it. Because when you put it out there, this is what you want, this is the name you want, blah, 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 that actually can literally happen because you've asked for it. And when you ask, whatever you ask for, you are given, if as long as it's not something that's going to hurt you, because you don't really want it if you're afraid of it. So whatever it is, like when you put down in a journal that this is how you feel or whatever, that's fine. And that's good because sometimes you need to work through it in order to even know it's there, because a lot of people have feelings they don't even know they have. So they need to write them out in order to even realize they have them. Why are you mad? I don't know why I'm mad. I'm just mad. You're never upset for the reason you think you're upset. You're upset, ultimately we're all upset for the same reason, because we have no idea what's really going on and we think we're somebody that we're not and we think we're separate. But when you get down to the details of it, maybe writing it down will at least show you exactly what your illusions are, because even your illusions are twisted, which is even like, that's just how twisted we are, that's just how complicated our minds have become, that we've complicated the complicated. Where it's like, now, okay, I need to write out how I really feel in order to actually figure out what I'm even feeling. And that's kind of what I'm saying, the good thing about writing. But when you do these things where you have these names and you come up with these situations, all of it actually does mean something to you. And the feeling that you put into it literally does come back to you. So that's all I wanted to say. Later, loves. Bye.